Everybody, this is Case Hits Collectibles here as we do a quick market update on the Gundam TCG product. I want to start with some sealed boxes, then we'll move on to some of the higher end selling singles on TCG Player and check it all out, what's been going on with it. So got a few sets here, and there's a new set coming up that I'm actually pretty excited for. So we got our 4 sets here: GDO1, GDO2, GDO3, GDO4. And the new type rising boxes have seen kind of a spurt recently, which I think is worth mentioning. We'll go ahead and look at this in the last month. The last month has been huge in pricing. So what we're seeing here and what I'm kind of like drawing a conclusion to from this is that possibly, the demand and the interest in this product is finally starting to increase to the point where people are purchasing, right? You can have player base interest in a game where they're just trying to get cheap singles and drive this out. But what it's starting to look like is there's actual collector, investor, rip and shipper demand, speculator demand in these products. So look at the sales. The average daily sales is 4 here. But if you really look, there are spikes. It looks like every day, 16, 10, 8, 9, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. So a couple of these low sale days are driving down the average, it looks like. But I'm looking at 92 products available. We can cut out 11 of those. So we're looking at 80 something boxes left on the market at an average daily sold of 4. And that's not bad. So we're looking at what, 1-2 months probably. We can always assume that more product gets kind of dumped on the market as prices go up. Always expect more and more product to be provided as people want to sell into the increasing prices. So it's not a direct one-to-one, like, hey, we've only got 80, we're selling 4 a day, it'll take 20 days exactly and it'll all be sold out. No, that's not how it works. It does take longer, but I would imagine 3 to 4 months from now, we are probably going to be looking at the $500 range on these boxes because, and that's assuming there's not going to be a massive reprint, which I don't think there will be, because the way that this company runs One Piece, it looks like they're running it pretty similarly so far. So I think we're going to be okay in that market. Now, if we go back up to some of the GDO2s and 03s, 04s, look at the market, look at the chart again. This is now 02. So you can see we had the same kind of like low dip flat line into 80s. You could pick up all these boxes in the 80s, which I think was a fantastic price. When you're starting to get stuff below MSRP and you're starting to get it around the wholesale price, look, not all TCGs will survive. Some of these games will die for sure. Like Gundam, if it doesn't perform high enough, Bandai will probably just cut it off from the legs and then move on to focus on One Piece, right? But if it's doing okay and it's selling and tournaments are selling out and stuff like that, they'll keep pushing it. So in the meantime, we're looking at this. Look at these charts, guys. We're seeing sales now in the 150 range. So because you're seeing sales in the 150 range, you're seeing an average daily sold of 15. Again, 258 product. Let's back out 5 of those. So we still have a pretty solid supply of GDO2. But how much time is it going to be? A month, 2 months before all of a sudden that supply is gone, and now we're in the $200, $250 range. You've been picking up these at 80 and you're able to sell them for 200. Well, nobody's going to complain about doubling their value on these boxes. So what that brings me into is even GDO3 recently, not that long ago, was selling for 90 to 100 bucks. Okay. And now it is starting to break out the mold. Look, if you look at the last month, again, it's the same story from 01, took a little longer. Then the games got a little bit established. I think people are interested in the artwork. People are interested in the power level. People are having fun with it. So now all of a sudden we're looking at this and we're into, 02, 03, following the exact same trajectory. And this is the trajectory you want your game to be on. Not like something like Flesh and Blood, where it's the charts are literally the exact opposite, right? They're all going down from top left to bottom right, month over month. You start looking at some of these other games, Bandai's doing a great job, right? 6-month chart, I would say, like, I'm going to go ahead and say it, I think we are probably at the bottom. Like, we've hit the bottom, we've rebounded, and now we're starting to see the upward momentum, and that's what we are looking for. And we've now seen that in 3 different sets for Gundam. So we go into 04 Phantom Aria. Right now, you're picking these up for $85 a box. Now, if I were to go back over here, and I were to look at that chart that we looked at, right? Look at that chart, take a screenshot of this chart, and then let's go look at 04 and see what's going on. Look at all the massive kind of like pre-order sales at 140. I mean, look at all the people, 853, just perspective, guys. People wanted the new set. They want to get the new cards. They want to build decks. They want to have fun. almost 1,000 boxes sold. I mean, actually, not even almost, over 1,000 boxes sold all the way up to January 26th to February 1st. 1,000 boxes sold. And these are all prices well over the current 80. I mean, this is almost double, right? So $80, $90. So now if we go look, right? If we are looking at this chart, oops. Yeah, I think that was let's go to the 1 year. So we got that chart. Big crash after the release, and then we go to Phantom Aria. We go back to, so that was the last 2 sets that we looked right here. Look at the same thing, guys. So you tell me if we're going to be in the same trajectory or not. So I'm looking at this. I got 672 sold, 782 sold. That's 1,400 already. Go over here, 129. We're almost at 1,600 now. So more boxes sold at those, again, $100, $150 range. So it's $120. So it's sold for a less price, but more boxes sold by almost double at the initial wave of release. Okay. And we're just barely getting in on this product being released. It's only been a month or 2 months. Okay. So what do you think the trajectory is going to look like in 6 months from now when this supply again continues to creep down? You've got even more players, more demand, more interest in the game. And right now you're picking up these boxes for $80 to $90. To me, you know, I feel like these are pretty safe bets. You're getting these for almost the wholesale price, and you're not even at MSRP yet. So I feel like as long as this game keeps growing, we're in a great spot. Now, coming up next, this is what we really need to be paying attention to right now, is I've talked about this on the OP One Piece discussion, but with Eternal Nexus, this is going to be Gundam's EB01 product. And if you go to One Piece and you check out what the trajectory was of the EB01 product in One Piece, you know, it's up to what, $850 something, $900. Now, I don't think this product gets to $900. We are seeing pre-sales anywhere between like $150 to $160. $160, I think, is a fair price for this. You can, if you shop around on certain sites and such, you could probably find some pre-sales. I don't know if they're going to get fulfilled or not, but you can find some pre-sales for a little bit less than 160 here. It might be worth a shot trying to get some, but I feel like getting these at 160, honestly, I'd personally probably like get a case. You know, if we could get a case and you just sit on it, and you sit on it for 6 months or so to a year, and if it does even 50% of because the One Piece EB01 box started at $300 and rose up to $900, so that's a tripling of your money, right? Let's just say we stay in the same scale. We go from 160, right, to 480 or so. That seems totally reasonable to me to get up to $480, especially because we have a precedent being set over here, right, of New Type Rising GD01 being $400. So why would it be unheard of for Eternal Nexus, which is essentially going to be significantly shorter print? That's the good assumption, I think. I'm hearing allocations of 25% of what the normal product allocation is. So if that just is a 1-to-1 ratio, let's say that there's 25% less of this printed. Well, if that demand is still there, you know, we're going to wait and see, but you know, nothing's really selling yet. We need to wait till it gets a little bit closer, I think, but we'll see what happens. If this can get up to 480, if this can just match EB01, excuse me, GD01, then we are probably talking about an easy tripling of your money there. Now, this also has some tie-ins with the Eternal Nexus and also the other, I can't remember the name of it, something Eternal, which is the Gundam app, you know, version. So there is connections there as well, which I don't know if that's going to help. Yeah, here it is. It's the SD Gundam G Generation Eternal and Gundam card game collaboration. So it contains numerous cards designed for multiplayer modes such as team battles. So multiplayer. It's got the collaboration of the app version of the game and such. So we will see, right, if this actually is a popular thing or not a popular thing pretty quickly. But I'm banking on this EB1 product. If it's got some really nice cards in there, some chase hits, some super rare stuff, reprints, etc., I feel like this could be a great product. So anyway, that's what's really going on for the Gundam sealed product. Let's go ahead and take a look real quick at some of the singles going here and see what some of the prices are on that. 1 second, let me pull it back up, and let's go to product type cards, and we will sort high to low. So here's kind of one way I do it, is I look at these top level cards and I just scroll through trying to see what sets they came in, to see kind of what sets might be popping off. Now, obviously, Edition beta. I feel like I can kind of ignore edition beta because I don't have access really to that product. So for me, I don't care. But then you got Gundam promotional card doing really well. You know, $1,500, $1,200 here, which are championship cards and things like that. Over here, I saw edition beta, Gundam promotional, dual impact. Right, we got a dual impact card here for 900 or so. We've got a new type rising, Phantom Aria, new type rising. So if you just look right through there, also we have the starter deck. I saw one of these was a starter deck 01 as well. So there, it's very interesting to me to see kind of where, yeah, ST01, GD01. There's a lot going on here. GD01s. That kind of helps me understand where we're going with this. GD04 card up here at the $800 range. That's pretty cool. So LR plus really popping off here on the price range. And if we get some good LR pluses in EB01 or something like that, that'll be awesome. Got a GD01 new type rising. So there we go. There's the non-beta product. That's what we're looking for, right? So you can see new type rising has a couple cards here valued in the hundreds of dollars. That will ultimately, again, as these cards continue to get eaten up and as the supply of these high-end cards gets eaten up and the price of those cards keep going up, that will, lagging behind that will be the booster box prices. As people want to try and chase these things, they'll be paying a little bit more. So I also think the advent of YouTube channels and rip and ships and things like that, I think that has really helped push box prices of TCGs up in general across the board, because people will now just take out a business expense, right, for their YouTube channel to buy a $500 box and to rip it on stream. And if they're getting a lot of views and they're getting subscribers and channel members and donations and such, and they're selling the box slots and all this stuff, well, they can find a way to be profitable even on a $500 booster box. So I feel like a lot of the risk for people of purchasing these products has gone down so much that because they have so many ways to expense it out and get their money back. I feel like that is part of the thing that keeps driving these prices up, because you look at it, you're like, who would pay $1,000 for a booster box? Well, it's very simple. A person that would pay $1,000 for a booster box is a person that can earn guaranteed $1,500 by selling that booster box, as pick slots and rip and ships, or, from YouTube advertising from the videos, or whatever. You get my point, right? Like, it's very easy to pay that money if you really, feel like you're going to get something right back from the returns. You don't care what the price is, so to speak. So yeah, I think that's got a big factor in there right now. But yeah, just looking around here, a lot of promos, a lot of tournament promos, and then you can see like a pretty good spread of hits from all the different products. So I think that that's something that's going to continue to push the products and the booster boxes up in value over time. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Case Hits Collectibles. Let us know what you're collecting in the comments, and we'll keep trying to churn out some videos to talk about these different markets. Thanks a lot.